Is there a motion to open the meeting? Who do I have? I got Brian, I got Rick. Anybody on the phone? Phil or Mark?
Motion to open the meeting.
There a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Under protest.
That's okay, Rick. You can say that. I presume this meeting is being audio videotaped and zoomed by Mass General Laws. With that, guys, introduce yourself. I know who you are. Start with you, Brian.
Brian Deschamps.
Rick Ellis.
Mark Centerizio. And Henry.
Henry Youngclinger.
There you go. We have an echo because we're so close to each other, so we have to mute each other out every now and then. With that, we have to start off at the 6:45 public hearing. Proposed subdivision at 148 Peckham Road. Joshua Root of Acushnet, Mass. Applicant represented by John Romanelli of Zenith Land Surveyors, Lakeville. This proposal is for a 3-lot subdivision on a single access street. Mr. Romanelli.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm going to ask for a continuance to October, please.
No problem. Is there a motion?
Motion to continue to whatever our October meeting is going to be. I guess we have to set one.
That's right. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. We will continue that. Henry, do you have a date in October? I got a calendar right here.
Hi, this is Donna Lopes.
Say it again, please. Miss, I didn't hear you.
This is Donna Lopes. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you check the address on the plan? It says 148 Peckham Road, and that's what you have on the agenda, but that's Mr. Aruta's current residence. It's not the location of this project. I believe it should say lot 16, map 16, lot 9.
Okay, that's Mr. Romanelli? Or is that
Yeah,
coming up later?
I believe by deed it's still connected to Josh's home as one large piece. I'm not 100% sure though.
Okay, if you could just
But we
check
can
that.
definitely change it to the map and lot number.
Okay,
That makes sense.
thank you.
You're
Is that
welcome.
okay with you, ma'am?
Yes, that's fine. I just thought I'd mention it.
No, that's fine. Appreciate it. With that, that'll be continued. Did we come up with a date, Henry?
Mark,
Yes, sir.
I've got a question. I mean, I've got a plan here that says A&R Plan of Land 148 and 158 Peckham Road. Is that something that we're doing tonight?
That's a different one.
Yeah, but is it something that we're doing tonight?
Yes, it should be later on in the agenda. I believe it's on for 9:25. I don't know what time.
Okay, that's the lot line relocation then?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
What for the date, Henry?
Okay, how about October the 22nd?
Fine. Our next meeting will be October 22nd. So we will put you on that, Mr. Romanelli, for 6:45 PM for the continuance on Peckham Road.
Thank you. That sounds fine with me.
No problem. Number 2, public hearing continuation. Proposed ground-mounted solar array at 1050 Main Street, Acushnet Solar LLC of Boston. Applicant and represented by Steve Giosa, SciTech Incorporated of Dartmouth, Mass. The proposal is for a 1.3 megawatt DC ground-mounted solar array. Sorry to keep running so late. Mr. Giosi, are you in the audience? Huh?
Yes, I am, Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry, Steve. We have to go from our regular meeting into a public hearing. Is there a motion?
Motion to go into a public meeting for 0 Wing Lane, which was scheduled.
This is 1050 Main Street, Rick.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Oh,
okay.
1050 Main Street, I'm sorry. Too many solar things on the agenda this time.
That's okay. Have your coffee. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Steve, go right ahead, please.
Okay, again, for the record, Steve Gioso with SciTech Engineering, representing the applicant this evening. As the board probably recalls, this is a solar project located on the east side of Main Street at 1050 Main. If you'd like, I can share my screen, but that's the board's call on that.
Yes,
Up to you,
Alright.
Mark. I mean, I've got a set of plans here.
Yes, so do I.
you
Okay,
guys got them, but I don't have them. And the people
Oh,
out in Zoom land don't have
all
them.
right, let me share my screen. Okay, and I'm assuming you can see what's on the screen at this time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so on the left side of the screen, you'll see we have Main Street, which is where the project will have its physical access. The solar project, just to refresh the board's memory, is embedded in the middle of the site with our access drive coming up along the south border of the property, going past the equipment pads in this area, and then continuing into the project to the back section where we have a following up smaller or an additional portion of the solar array in this back section of the land here. As I think the board members are aware, this is an open field. So this is a solar project in an area that will not require us to clear large areas of trees. And we've got a stormwater management pond in this location here. And again, to refresh the board's memory, this has been reviewed and approved by the Acushnet Conservation Commission. At the last meeting, we talked about some minor changes that we wanted to put on the plan. Really, it came down to addressing the fire department's concern about emergency fire storage, water storage, in an area that's going to be convenient in case there is a fire need on the property for fire protection. So we did add, as the chief requested, a 2,500 gallon fire cistern with connection points at this location for the fire department. And beyond that point, I think we had addressed all the other concerns prior to the last meeting and presented them at the last meeting. And then there was a question about the decommissioning of the system and the cost associated with that. After review with Mr. Young, we did forward our decommissioning estimate over to SW Cole. I did have a conversation with Derek Mello over at SW Cole earlier in the week, indicated that he was going to attempt to get his analysis completed for tonight. He didn't, and unless it came directly to the town, it didn't come to us. But we
did not get that yet.
Okay, so we had presented a decommissioning analysis for this project. It follows similar decommissioning analysis that we've presented and had accepted in other communities. And so we believe we've provided the requested information, and we don't believe there are any other requested plan changes being asked of the applicant. So we are looking to see if the board is going to be comfortable closing the public hearing this evening and hoping to allow this to move to the next step. There are some energy reasons why we would like to get to that point this evening if the board is comfortable with what we've presented and what information is available for you to make your decision.
Gentlemen on the board, anybody on the board have any questions for Steve?
No, I mean, it didn't seem, it seems like the plan is the way it needs to be. I don't have a problem with it. As long as we can still continue to work out the cost of decommissioning and you know, without further public hearing. Now, we usually have a list of conditions that goes with this, Henry?
Yes.
Is that something we need to have the public hearing open for, or can we do that once the public hearing is closed?
You'll have to mute yourself. Okay. We have a standard set of conditions for special permits for solar projects. So it's consistent from project to project, just sort of tailored to the individual site. The one issue I think that which it's not whether we're comfortable, it's whether the developer is comfortable. And that is, while we appreciate your decommissioning estimate preparation, we will ultimately rely on SW Cole, our third-party engineer, to provide that value. So if the board is interested in doing a conditioned approval tonight, I think that that condition is that the SW Cole estimate for decommissioning is what will be the number that's in this special permit. And hopefully that it comes close to what Mr. Gioso has provided. So I think the question is for Mr. Gioso, is that acceptable to your client?
The client is on the call, I believe, but it seems like that's a reasonable condition, given I know Cole, I know Mr. Mello, I know that they've got the experience in this matter to come up with a reasonable number. And it's always a concern that the number becomes a little too unwieldy, but based on my knowledge of Derek and his group, I think I would be comfortable with that. And unless my client provides any negative input at this point, I would be comfortable with taking that approach if the board is comfortable with that.
Excuse me, this is Alan Clapp from Nexamp. And I am comfortable as well with what Steve presented.
Okay, so my recommendation to the board is, having reviewed the site plan myself and noting that the issues that were raised by the fire chief have been appropriately addressed by Mr. Gioso, I would recommend approval of the site plan with the condition that the decommissioning estimate be from SW Cole be utilized in the final signed special permit and site plan review.
I'm comfortable
Yes.
with that. I would make a motion that we approve, subject to our normal special conditions that go with these solar array projects, and with the further proviso that the cost of decommissioning be that which is developed by SW Cole, our consultant.
Second that?
Are there any?
I don't know if there's anybody from the public that wants to speak.
Yes, I have concerns. I have concerns.
One moment, please, ma'am. We're trying to get my picture back on here and my voice. If you'd be kind enough to introduce yourself, please, and just tell us.
Sure. My name is Irene Pyers, and I live at 1020 Main Street. My property abuts the solar farm project. So I was finally able to get a copy myself of the actual plan over the summer. And looking at it, I have many concerns as far as how close, again, it is to my property, and even the buffer zone, which is not exactly 100 feet. So if you look at the map, the plan there, it's the way the buffer zone is for my property. It's kind of across, not straight. So it's not 100 feet. It's a lot less than 100 feet. And then the other big concern I have is the battery component there, the storage system. And if you look at that size, how big that is, if you actually go look at the barn that's across the barn on 1050 Main Street, it's actually the storage compartment, the battery storage compartment unit is a lot bigger than that barn. That is very, very big. And it's again, very close to my property line. And to me, I think that's hazard. That's a danger right there. And I don't even see it being so close to my property. And again, and I understand that they store the fire department okayed it, but if you really look at how close it is, it's very close. And all the major, were the poles, which again, and the wires, the overhead wires, I'd like to know how far how high do they go? They're, through, right on the little opening there, there's quite a few poles. I see a lot of meter poles, the overhead wires. I'd like to know exactly how that's going to look. There's obviously no evergreens proposed to cover those again. And everything on my side of the property. I don't see anything on the side of 1050 Main Street. Everything's on my side of the property. Again, very concerned, definitely about the battery storage unit and how close it is to my property.
Anything you want to say, Mr. Giosi? Oh, did I mute him?
No, I had myself muted so that I wouldn't interfere with Ms. Pyer's presentation. So again, at the end of the day, this is the battery storage area right here. I'm sorry, right here. It's over 100 feet from her property line in its positioning on the property. It is behind or within the 7-foot fenced-in area. So again, we do have the fencing coming along here. The project meets all the required setback requirements specified in the zoning. The poles are standard height utility poles, so they are standard height poles, but nothing unusual in terms of construction or size. And again, we've looked.
What is the can I just say, what is the standard size? What's the standard size?
I don't want to say the wrong thing. So I think it's probably around 20 feet, but I
20
take that at
that is a lot. Again, right? And how many of them are here? There's quite a few being proposed.
Okay, I'm gonna wait for the chairman to authorize me to respond to any questions. I think it's more appropriate for me to work through the chair as opposed to get into a back and forth with someone asking questions. So if the chairman wants me to
agree with you 100%. Go right ahead, Mr. Giosa.
So again, the utility poles you see in front of your house, this is what you're seeing as these utility poles. So there's no difference from a aesthetic standpoint when you look out your front window and look at the poles in front of your house. So they are not intruding into the backyard vista of your property. This is on the proper setbacks from the boundary line. Number of poles, 3, and again, there's probably 7 poles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I believe.
Thank you, Steve. Rick, what was that thing about solar farms that you tell everybody all the time?
Well, I mean, I understand. I understand what's been said. I mean, we do not have the authority under the state laws to turn down a solar array. A solar array is allowed by right in the entire state of Massachusetts. We can do things to condition it. I mean, frankly, typically the planning board is looking at subdivisions. I mean, we just approved one not long ago. The road, a subdivision road back there would be wider than this one. There would be who knows how many houses and how big of a road system back there. I mean, in comparison to the other things that we see in town, this is much more benign and much easier on the tax base. And frankly, I don't see much difference visually, whether it's a subdivision that goes in with roads and utility poles or the array does. That's just a personal opinion. I don't see anything here that would entitle us to disapprove the disapprove the project, and then be taken to court because we shouldn't have disapproved it. I just don't see anything. It would have to be some huge thing that a judge would say, boy, you know, this really wasn't envisioned by the state fathers when they enacted this bylaw. I think this needs to be looked at more closely. I don't see anything like that here. I see a bunch of arrays. I see an access road that goes in, and you know, all the facilities, the structures, they're pretty well set back from everybody's house. It's an existing field. There's not a lot of clearing that's going on. I just don't see something that's going to rise to the level of the board needs to disapprove this and we end up in court and lose.
Thank you, Rick. Is there anybody else that would like to speak pro or con for this?
I would like to say something.
Henry, go ahead. What do I have to do here?
Just make yourself. Good.
I don't see the little mute thing.
Mr. Gioso, could you bring up the plan and show me where the battery storage facility is located?
Yes, are you able to see what I have on the screen now?
No, you'll have to do the share screen function.
Okay, I did, but now I seem to be having difficulty getting back to the, let's see what we can do.
While you're doing that, the question that I have is, and it's not an uncommon ask, is it possible to provide some kind of vegetative buffering around the electrical storage facility or, to improve the aesthetics for the abutter?
I think there's not a problem with adding in the area of the battery storage pad along the outside of the fence in that particular area, a portion of that fencing, you know, where it does have visibility to Ms. Pyer's house, add some storage in that area. I apologize. For some reason, it's not allowing me to get back to the screen where I can share my visual with you. Let's try. Yeah, no, it's not letting me come back to that screen. And I'm not sure why. Let's try this. Are we back on sharing now?
Yes, we are.
What I was saying is, this is the Pyers property to the south. This is the battery storage and the equipment pad area. If we were to add, as we've done here on the Main Street side, we have an evergreen buffer plantings. If we were to carry that down to this location here, essentially half this fence length here, that would give a visual screen back in this direction. The Pyers dwelling is down in this area here. That would not be a problem to carry that through in that area.
Okay, I think as a courtesy to the abutter, that would be an appropriate remedy to for
I
position.
agree. Yeah, I agree. And if the board is comfortable with that, that could be a condition of approval that we provide that visual screen in that location. And I think that's appropriate.
Can I just comment on that?
Go right ahead. I don't mean to push you, ma'am, but we have like 12 other appointments tonight. I realize it's
understand.
next to your house and we understand completely, but go right ahead.
I'm suggesting, why can't the battery storage system be moved somewhere else? Obviously, there's plenty of space there. I don't know why it has to be so close to my property. Again, can it be moved somewhere else?
I believe it's 100 feet away. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes, that's in 100 feet is not a lot, I can tell you.
But we have to go by our rules and regulations. Do you understand that, ma'am?
No, I understand, but I understand, but again, right next to my
We're
property.
trying to help you as much as we can.
I just
proponent
don't
is,
like that being so close to my, I don't think it's safe. I think it's a fire hazard to begin with. And
I think if it was a fire hazard, man, the fire chief would state that. He has already gone out and inspected it.
it's still extremely close to my property. I don't even know how that can be legal to
We
have
understand.
something of that size, that magnitude, right next to a private property. I can't believe it.
We've
That's
been
what,
doing many of these solar, no disrespect, man, we've been doing many of these solar relays,
I
and
know, I
they've all been
understand, but
coming out very nice, and everything's been working out very well.
I haven't
We have-
seen any that close to a property again.
Have you-
It just bothers me that there's no consideration to the neighbors or something, again, of that size being so close to the property. I'm just very upset. I think I will need to contact an attorney to see if that is absolutely legal. And what distance must it have from the neighboring property?
Mr. Gioso.
That's my next step.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Gioso, a quick question. Is there a reason from a utility standpoint that the storage facility is located where it is?
Well, the equipment pads and the storage has to be in this general area because of the way the system feeds through and then out into and connecting to the grid. So this is where the electrical designers have optimized the design of the project to make sure it's, again, embedded in the project. These units are not going to be intrusive, especially if we're going to add this landscape buffer. Ms. Pyers is going to have a nice screen on this side here. And again, I think as Mr. Ellis indicated, the alternative of houses and other more intrusive development on this parcel really could occur, and it is not going to occur because this will, I think, be a nice use, low intensity, no noise, no traffic. There are just a lot of benefits there. And again, with the addition of the screen in this area, you know, I think it addresses the principal concern of the abutter, that the applicant is more than willing to be a good neighbor and offer that out to the board to consider.
That's also, if you plant where you propose in those trees, and I would imagine you'd plant some mature vegetation, that's upslope. So once those come in, I think that's going to help with mitigating the sort of the aesthetic issue that we're talking about. From a safety standpoint, I would just note again that Chief Gallagher, who reviews every single solar project that goes through the planning board, has reviewed and approved this one. And he's well aware of the battery storage facility.
Are there any other people who would like to speak for or against this, please? With that, gentlemen, is there a motion?
Was there a motion on the table that we approve it? You know, Rob, okay, I would make a motion. I would add to the existing motion that we will require the developer to do some additional plantings on the south side of the battery storage facility.
Is there a second?
That would be the addition to the motion that's already on the table.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 With that, unanimous. Is it accepted? With
Very
that,
good, thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion to close the public hearing on this and go back into open session?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excuse me while I get around to my agenda here. With that, 7:15 public hearing. Public hearing, proposed ground-mounted solar array at Zero Wing Lane, CVENA of New York applicant represented by Asa Smith, Atlantic Design of Bourne, Mass. The proposal is for a 1/2 megawatt ground-mounted solar array at Zero Wing Lane. Is there a motion to go from open session into public hearing for this?
Make a motion, we go into the public hearing for the Zero Wing Lane Solar Project.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous with that. Do we have anybody, and I'm sorry we're running late again, is Mr. Smith here?
No, but this is Ryan Young
Go ahead,
from
Ryan.
CVE representing the applicant.
And Nick Cleany from Atlantic Design. I'm filling in for Asa Smith.
No problem.
Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I'd like to share my screen to show the project plans.
Yes, sir.
Just 1 second while it pulls up.
We have to bear with you. Don't worry about it. It's been a long night. It's going to get longer.
It's going to get longer. We just appreciate you having us, given the circumstances, but we're appreciate it because we'd love to move forward. I know we've been through this on many occasions, but would like to give a brief just synopsis for the board and for everybody out in the Zoom world. And this is the CVE solar project out on Zero Wing Lane. This parcel is the entirety of Zero Wing Lane. And as background, some folks that might remember, this is the old rocket project that is existing and up and running on the parcel. Tonight's meeting doesn't have anything to do with that parcel. The project area is this southern portion of the property that's on the other side of the utility corridor right here. This is the portion of the property that we're intending to develop. And I'll move forward a little bit here, but just to note that CVE does intend to own both the property and the project for the next 20 to 40 years. We're a little bit different than some developers in that we're owner and designer, construction, owning, financing, and we intend to keep the property and keep the project. We're going to sell all the power right back into the community through our community solar subscription service. So the power can stay right in Acushnet and the South Coast area. The other really quick thing that's a little bit different about CVE is our environmental commitment. We have a program that gives $1 for every solar panel we install, and that applies to these projects as well. Or the money that we take goes into an environmental fund to be spent on wildlife conservation and water type projects. And the final thing I'll mention is that once we're done installing the project out here, everything in the area will be seeded with the gold standard of pollinator friendly habitat for bees and butterflies and migratory songbirds, so they can still utilize the project, the property area. And we're pretty proud of that effort in our projects to date that include all of that. In terms of the project, it's about 0.5 megawatt AC. We've been, I think we've complied with all the requests of the town. The fire chief has approved the project. Department of Public Works has approved the project. I think the only change was the address. We had to update the address. It was 0 Wing Lane. It's now been updated to 87 Wing Lane. We updated that on the most recent plans and have submitted them for your review. I do have a comment or question about decommissioning, but I think it would be appropriate for me to sort of pause there and hear from the board, hear questions or concerns that you might have.
Is there anybody on the board that has any questions for Mr. Young?
Nope. I do not. Rick Ellis.
Brian?
Nope, I'm all set too.
The decom, I think we came up with a price of, or someone can, SW calls, somebody come up with a price of 50,000. Does that sound right, Mr. Young?
That sounds correct.
Myself. Yes, that is correct.
The other Mr. Young, there's another Mr. Young
Right.
here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Thank you, and we appreciate SW Cole turning that around on a short notice. I would like to make a quick comment in that, yes, the decommissioning amount that they pinned for this project was about 50,000. I'd like to say that, you know, across the road, our project is 5 or 6 times the size and number of panels, and the decommissioning for that is 90,000. And similarly, in all our other projects throughout the state, $50,000 for 0.5 megawatt is an exorbitant amount of money. And I'll just point out a couple things about the project. They put in dumpster for $1,000 a day, or at 10 days, which is $10,000. In addition, they rounded up, they gave the number and then they rounded up by 6%. So there was just about a number of things that were a little bit out of line, both with our projects throughout the state and with other projects that have come through in the Acushnet. So if it's not unreasonable, I would like to request that the board use their discretion a little bit to and consider reducing the decommissioning amount for this project, given how small it is.
That would require continuation so that we can.
Yep.
Mark, I mean,
Yep.
I not.
It would, well, then,
compared-
Rick, it would
compared-
require a continuation of this meeting in order to go back and have them look it over to lower the price on decommissioning. But go ahead, Rick, go right ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you know, I when I look at the land area involved, it doesn't look tremendously different. You know, I don't know. It the thing is, if it does get decommissioned, that means because it's a town project, it's got to go out to bid. You've got to do wage rates. You've got to have a bid package. It's I don't know. I don't think that in the grand scheme of things that is an exceptional amount of money for decommissioning. I mean, I'd be glad to have SW Cole look at it again with, you know, if they've got backup information that shows other projects that have been decommissioned and how much it's been how much it has cost. You know, the thing is, it's not just somebody in a business office saying, okay, you know, we've just decommissioned 20 of these things. Who's been the low guy, and we just give it to him. If we're talking about decommissioning costs, then I'm assuming that the town is going to have to do the decommissioning, and probably have to do it in accordance with, you know, all the bidding laws and wage rate requirements that we have to go through. Maybe wrong, but I don't know.
And we don't disagree with you. I just think it, I don't disagree with any of that. It's just per the size of this project, the number of panels and the area that's being disturbed, it's out of line with anything else we've seen and with other estimates that SW Cole has given us and others.
Can you, I mean, can you guys secure a bid to decommission it as shown?
Yes, we could. We're not interested in delaying any further. We've been unfortunately we only got the decommissioning amount this afternoon at about 5. So we did get a decommissioning estimate from our engineers, and it's half the amount. We're not looking for half the amount, but if the board feels like they have the discretion and would consider a slightly lower amount, that would be appreciated by the applicant.
I mean, I'd be honest with you. I recommend we stay with the 50,000 that we've got from our consultant and move the thing forward. If they want to, you know, delay it to the next meeting, you know, over a discussion of 10 grand or so on decommissioning costs, well then that's up to them.
Well, thank you for considering. We'd like to. I'd like to pull my comments, and we're willing to accept the 50,000 as written by SW Cole.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, pro or con? Brian?
Nope.
Is there anybody else in Zoom land that'd like to say anything about this project? Gentlemen, is there a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the project as submitted with the decommissioning cost developed by SW Cole and in a conformance with our normal special conditions that go out with these projects.
And we have one thing, Henry's going to read something.
Okay.
How can I get out of here, Henry?
You're fine. And that also includes approval of the site plan review as well as a special permit.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. From that, we go out of the public hearing back into an open hearing. Is there a motion?
Motion, we go back to open hearing,
Second.
open meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, 7:30. We're not doing too bad. We're only 15 minutes late. Public hearing continuation. Proposed ground-mounted solar array at 251 Mendel Road. Auriga Solar Systems Incorporated of Lowell, Mass. Applicant represented by Branson Smith, also of Baroga Solar Systems Incorporated of Lowell. This proposal is a 5 megawatt AC ground-mounted solar array. Is there anybody from Borrego Solar Systems?
Hi, it is a typo. It's Brandon Smith.
I'm sorry, Brandon, typo.
No problem at
That's my fault, or my glasses, one or the other.
all. No problem at all. Good evening. So yeah, Brandon Smith. I'm also on the line here with me is project developer Zach Farkas. So through the commissioner, if I may, I have a plan I'd like to present or share my screen.
Please do.
All right. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes. Everybody see it okay?
Yep.
So just a quick recap. This project is a 5 megawatt AC solar and storage project located on the old Greenbrier Girl Scout camp parcel east of Mendel Road, 251 Mendel Road. Since the previous meeting with the board, we have worked with Chief Gallagher to make a few adjustments to the plan to meet his requirements. Specifically, what we've done, we've added a water line from Mendel Road to bring in a hydrant to the system per his request. So we'll be running a 6-inch line up here right outside the facility's gates to place a hydrant there. The other thing that we've changed on the project per Chief Gallagher's request is for access. So there, apologize for that. So we've added a few pull-offs, vehicle pull-offs. There's one here near Mendel Road. We've added a turnaround up closer to the facility, as well as a ring road. So a compacted earth access way all the way around the facility with pull-offs every 500 feet, as well as a couple turnarounds here and here to aid in accessing the site for any emergency reason or anything like that. Ensure that a vehicle doesn't have to go all the way around it, and they can turn around and come out. So we worked with Chief Gallagher. He indicated, I believe he sent to you, Henry, his comments stating that he is happy with the proposed layout. We also have met with the various department heads. Henry was kind enough to set up that meeting with us. So we spoke with them. The last thing I'll mention before answering any other questions the board may have is previous meeting there was a question about magnetic electric EMFs basically from the site. So as part of the resubmission that I submitted last week was actually a really good study that was done by the Massachusetts Clean Energy Center that kind of outlines some empirical evidence. So, not relying on theoretical, calculations or anything, but they actually did studies on several sites in Massachusetts and found that, beyond 50 to 100 feet from these sites, there's no trace of electromagnetic radiation or anything like that. So I'd be happy to answer any other questions the board may have today.
Gentlemen on the board, or Henry, do you have any questions?
Thank you. We have a copy of your EMF study. Thank you very much.
That's, I think, the first one we've received from a consultant, but I think that it's appropriate given the magnitude of this project. Just to confirm, Mr. Smith did meet with all the department chairs last week, gave a very informative presentation, answered all questions. Fire chief is quite happy with the water line that you've installed. One of the remaining issues will be the decommissioning. So we'll have to coordinate on getting that done. That's what we call.
Yes, actually, there's one thing I should have mentioned. I have reached out to them. That that ball is rolling. I think they're trying to finish up the previous applicants today, so they were not able to get to ours ahead of this meeting. But we are working with them to get that done as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like to speak pro or con for this particular development? Anybody out there? Yes, no? With that, excuse me?
I'm all set, Mark.
With that, is there a motion, gentlemen? Motion to continue.
Okay, motion to continue to our next public meeting on October 26th. You have to set a time.
22nd, Rick.
Oh, 22nd, sorry.
Yes, that's okay.
I better change my calendar. I would make a motion that we continue the public hearing till that date.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Till our next meeting, it will be roughly 7 o'clock on the 22nd. Got that, Mr. Smith?
October 22nd at 7 o'clock?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we hope to have everything wrapped up by then. So we'll talk to you then.
Great, thank you very much. Is there a motion to go from public hearing back into open session?
Motion to go from public hearing back into public session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous, back into open. 7:45, we're getting better. The time's coming down. We're only 7 minutes behind schedule. It's like a race here. Public hearing proposed, commercial development, 158 Main Street, 166 Main Street, and 17 Wing Road. New England Retail Development LLC applicant, represented by Patrick McLaughlin, PE, GPI Greenman, Pedersen Incorporated. Site plan review and approval required. This is a proposal for a 4,200 square foot gas station and convenience store with a drive-through service within the Business Village District. With that, we have to make a motion to go from the open hearing into a public hearing. Is there a motion?
Motion to go into public hearing.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
With that, is there anybody for this proposed commercial development, New England Retail Development? I believe we saw some of you folks at CBA, but go right ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Phil Lombardo. For the record, I'm the attorney for the project. With me to my left is Mickey Higgins, who is the project developer. I would, at this time, ask if the board will consider a continuance. We did not this evening obtain our special permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals. That hearing has been continued to October 20th. And so our thinking on this is that we ought to defer our discussion until we have at least obtained that relief, which we thought we might have had by now. Is that something that might be appropriate at this time, Mr. Chairman?
If you want to continue it, sir, you're more than welcome to continue it.
We think that maybe under the circumstances, it'd be a better thing to do. I am wondering, however, if there are perhaps department comments or staff comments that have been received that we might get the benefit of, so that we could look at those and perhaps incorporate them into our discussions with the ZBA or this board down the road.
Henry, have you had anything on this?
Sure. I would suggest that it would be appropriate for you to come back in again and meet with the department chairs. That way you can do a presentation and get a immediate feedback from all interested parties. We usually do that on Tuesday mornings. We could do that. Let me check my calendar. We could do that October the 13th.
If that's as earliest as that we can do, that's fine.
I can see if we could possibly do October the 6th. If I can do that, if I can arrange that, we will. If not, we'll defer to the 13th.
Okay, well, we'll wait to hear from you on that.
Okay.
Thank you. So I guess under those circumstances, we're formally asking for a continuance of the hearing until at least October 20, which is the evening of the special permit hearing at the ZBA.
Well, I would make a motion that we continue the public hearing to October 22nd.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous for the continuation of the proposed commercial development for New England retail development. Is there a motion to go out of public hearing back into open session?
You know what, Mark, I just have one comment that I'd like to make, and I really don't expect a response at this time, but we're talking about a major traffic generator in place of what's at that corner now. The corner of Wing Lane and Main Street gets a fair amount of traffic, and it's not the greatest place to put in a high capacity drive-through, gas pumps, convenience store, everything that generates a lot of traffic and a lot of in and out, it's there. Off the top of my head, to introduce 3 intersections for that to Main Street and 1 on Wing Road for a total of 4 different accesses to the road seems a little excessive, and just seems like that's going to contribute even more to the congestion issues that we have at that intersection. It would be interesting to see if there's a police record of accidents at Wing Lane and Main Street as it is, just for information. That's just my comment. I mean, when I look at this, boom, I see what's there now, a bunch of low volume traffic generators, and I see this thing that's one of the higher traffic generators out there in an intersection that's probably not the most fun in town to go through. I would really be interested to see what the police chief has to say about this one.
I'm pretty sure that on the Tuesday meeting that they have, all these heads of the groups will get together, and I'm sure they'll put something in perspective to that.
I would just ask Henry to, if it doesn't get brought out, bring out that issue at the meeting.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, may I?
Yes, you may, sir.
Yes, Dave DeRoche, 1399 Main Street, Acushnet. In response to Mr. Ellis's question, I do have a letter in front of me from the police chief dated May 7th, 2020. In his research, he says, and I'll quote this, "I researched motor vehicle crashes in the area since 1995. According to the Acushnet Police Department records, there have been 30 reported crashes in the area of the intersection of Main Street and Wing Road. One crash involved a vehicle turning onto Wing Road from Main Street. In that instance, the vehicle turning right onto Wing Road from Main Street rear-ended a vehicle stopped a little further up on Wing Road, waiting to turn into the property at 158 Main Street. I found no record of any crashes involving pedestrians in the area. And if I just may, another comment I personally have as a resident is that this intersection, according to our chief of police, will surely increase foot traffic in the area. I know the developers asked before this if there's any comments. He says that he believes significant foot traffic will happen, and that the current layout for the crosswalk constructed would create a hazard for pedestrians from vehicular traffic traveling north turning onto Wing Road. A viable option is to move the crosswalk closer to Main Street and create a traffic island, because the distance, if you move it closer to Main Street, will become 75 feet. So having a traffic island will help alleviate the flow of the traffic, or help direct the flow of the traffic, and also give pedestrians a halfway space to get across the 75-foot distance. So I hope that helps a little. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Mr. Ellis, to answer your question, I'll certainly bring up the traffic engineering considerations. It's pretty common, and I'm sure the developer has on staff a transportation engineer who will do a trip generation study, pedestrian vehicular flow study, to ensure that we're not creating a unsafe situation.
With that, I know there's probably a lot of people want to talk about this, but we will continue it till
October 22nd.
October 22nd. You want to give the time? 7:30?
7:30.
With that, go out of the public hearing back into open session. Is there a motion?
We go out of the public hearing back to open session.
There a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. With that, we're back into open session, 8:15. Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves now. Oopah. Oh, public hearing, Form K request for sidewalk waiver, Labonte Street subdivision, Labonte Street MG Property Group applicant represented by Ben Reese. This is a request for sidewalk waiver for a 3-lot subdivision on Labonte Street. Is there anybody here for MG Property Group applicant?
Yes, sir. Good evening.
You got to introduce yourself. We know who you are, but
My name is Ben Reese. I'm here representing MG Property Group on a Form K for a sidewalk waiver for the 3-lot subdivision Labonte Street, located off of Pembroke Avenue.
Edward, you want to speak on this one? You want this one? Give us a minute, a little technical difficulty.
There you go.
Sure.
Yes, Mr. Reese, good to see you. We had discussed this in last month's meeting, and the direction from KP Law on how to remedy this situation was for Mr. Reese to prepare a Form K on behalf, as it turns out, of the developers who have purchased all 3 lots. So that has been done. And the other consideration that was raised at the last meeting on the part of Mr. Ellis was to ensure that the Board of Selectmen supported this decision to grant a waiver. Each of you have in your information packets a letter signed by Chairman Gaspar to that effect. Given that, I would recommend to the board approval of the submitted Form K.
Anybody else would like to speak on it? Gentlemen of the board?
I mean, the selectmen were the ones that originally wanted it. Now they've decided it's probably not in everybody's best interest. I would make a motion that we grant relief of the sidewalk on the 3-lot subdivision on Labonte Street.
There's a second.
I second that.
All in favor? Aye, unanimous. Mr. Reese, you're all set.
You're getting there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think we'll be done by Christmas of this year now. I want to go on the record.
Okey-doke.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good night.
You're all set. Have a great night. We might be running early. This is an 8:30 appointment, but do we have anybody from 1209 Main Street Solar Project? Roy Morrison and Associates, LLC of Warner, New Hampshire. Applicant represented by Renee Gagnon, Zenith Consulting Engineers of Lakeville. Do we have anybody?
They probably won't be coming till.
Okay. Do we have,
We can go back to our items.
Mr. Chairman?
excuse me?
Yeah, hi, I'm here with, I'm a partner at Roy Morrison Associates.
Okay. I know we're running early, so we don't.
Yes, I'm not sure my consulting engineer from Zenith Consulting is on the line, is on the Zoom meeting right now,
It's
present.
okay. We promise we'll wait till we have other things we can do. We can
Okay,
wait
so
till
if he gets on the line, we'll send you a note or wave our hand.
Just wave, do something.
Will
Okay?
do. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No problem, sir. So with that, gentlemen, minutes of July 14th, 2020. Have you had an opportunity to read the minutes?
Yep, I have. I would make a motion that we approve the minutes as typed.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes accepted. Do I have to sign those? There we go. Excellent. Vouchers. Do we have any vouchers? No vouchers today. That's fantastic. Mail. Do we have no? We don't have anything special with mail. Stormwater permit presentation by Conservation Commission agent. Mary Lee, you out there? Mary Lee? Nope. That's it. Sold America. We'll have to wait for Mary Lee to come on when we can do that one. Item number 5. You want me to read this out loud? Confer signatory power on behalf of the planning board member to the chairman, Mark Centerizio, for documents approved by the planning board and requiring signatures of planning board members. I will hand this over to you, Henry. You take this computer.
Okay. So this item has to do with essentially streamlining the signature process during the COVID-19 environment that we're in, where we're all in, different locations and it's hard to get signatures. Mass General Law does allow the planning board to designate an individual. In this case, the designee would be Chairman Mark Centerizio, to be the sole signatory on A&R plans and subdivision plans on behalf of the planning board. So I'm going to read through a little bit of information from KP Law, just so everybody, the board and everybody watching is aware. So this proposal to have Mark be the sole signatory on A&Rs and subdivision plans during the COVID environment is facilitated by Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 81P and 81X. Again, it's limited to A&R plans and subdivision plans. Essentially, from a
from an administrative standpoint, the board has to approve Mark having sole signatory status. And then we also have to send a letter to the register of the Bristol County Registry of Deeds, notifying them that Mark would be the sole signatory. So I have prepared a letter to that effect. So I'm just going to go down my checklist here from KP Law. So the designee would be Chairman Mark Cinerizio. This would only last through the duration of this COVID-19 environment where we're unable to meet person or, you know, in public. And I have prepared a letter to Fred Kalis, who is the registrar for the Bristol County Registry of Deeds. And I'm just going to read one paragraph from it. Dear Registrar Kalis, at a properly noticed meeting on September 24th, 2020, the Acushnet Planning Board, pursuant to General Law 41 and 81P, voted to authorize Mark Cinerizio, Chairman, to endorse on behalf of the board, approval not required, A&R, plans under the statute. Also, at this meeting, the Acushnet Board, pursuant to General Law 41 and 81X, voted to authorize Mark Cinerizio, Chairman, to endorse on behalf of the board subdivision plans under this statute. The signatures of a majority of the planning board appear below. So if we approve this, there's a letter that all three of you would have to sign. And then a copy that would be sent to Fred Kalis, the registrar of Bristol County Registry of Deeds. So I'm going to read a motion that was prepared by KP Law, which would facilitate that. The language would be, Mr. Chairman, it is moved the board authorize Mark Cinerizio, Chairman Board, Mark Cinerizio, Chairman of the Planning Board, to endorse A&R plans on behalf of the board as permitted under General Law 41 and 81P, and to endorse subdivision plans on behalf of the board as permitted under General Law 41, 81X. And further, move that the letter reviewed be transmitted to the Register of Deeds and Assistant Recorder of the Land Court as the notice required under both statutes. So if that is the pleasure of the Planning Board, that is the motion to vote on.
Is there a motion to accept what Henry read?
There is a motion to accept.
Is there a second? You don't want me to give you that power, Rick? Oh, Rick's muted.
Rick, you're muted.
You're muted, Rick.
You're muted, Rick.
Rick, we can't hear you.
I asked him to unmute, but he's not going.
How about now?
There you go. You got it.
All right. Something else came up from the host, and I had to get rid of that first before it would let me unmute it. But yeah, this, you know, there's cats and dogs and grandchildren and all that stuff. So I'm trying to keep that part out of the meeting.
That's okay. We understand completely. Brian, you made the motion to accept what Henry read about me signing the papers.
Yes, I did.
You second it, Rick?
I would second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, guys, just during this pandemic. I appreciate it. With that, we'll keep moving on. You want to do a planner's update, or do we have anybody? Let me see who's supposed to be out here. Marilee, you out there? No, Marilee. Okay. Main Street, 1209 Main Street, you guys get together yet?
Not yet, Mr. Chairman. I'm still
No
waiting.
problem at all, sir. How about presentation for common drive off Main Street? Anybody here for that? Let's see, Chris Farland.
Mr. Chair, actually, I am here for the 1209 Main Street with Mr. Nasser. If you'd like, we can present.
Sure, that's good. We thought we were going to be running late, but we're running early, so please feel free to introduce yourself. Let me reread this again. 1209 Main Street Solar Project, Roy Morrison and Associates LLC of Warner, New Hampshire. Applicant represented by Rainey Gagnon and Zenith Consulting Engineers LLC of Lakeville. There will be a presentation on the project and request for public hearing. Gentlemen, please feel free.
All right. Well, good evening, Jamie Bissonette from Zenith Consulting Engineers. I am sitting in tonight for Rainey. The proponent of the project is Mr. Nasser, who's also with us. I've sat down with Mr. Young on one occasion, and then we attended a department heads meeting earlier this week on this project. And Mr. Chair, if I may, I'd like to share my screen so that everyone can see the plan and we can do our presentation.
Yes, sir. Please do.
Thank you. All right. So our project is a small solar project that's going to be located at a residential dwelling known as 1209 Main Street. You can see on the back right-hand side of the property, we're proposing 4 different solar arrays. Inverter here and an inverter here, and then a concrete pad with utility line out to a new pole and to the existing utility pole in the street. This is a much smaller solar design than you're probably used to seeing. I know the ones we've done for the most part are very large. This is, like I said, this is a much smaller scale. I believe this is a 90 kilowatt DC, solar setup. We are proposing a fence around the entire perimeter. We're also demonstrating which trees would have to be removed by these circular dashed lines. And I think besides that, it's pretty simple. We're just looking to mount some solar panels with helical or corkscrew style mounts on ground mounted arrays.
Gentlemen on the board, any questions?
No, I really don't. I mean, it seems just a little bit bigger than some of these solar arrays I've seen out in back of other houses in the area.
Yes, sir. It's a little bit bigger than the one I have at my house. I agree with that. But but it's not as big as the large ones that we're proposing on site.
I understand. It wasn't meant to be a negative comment. It's meant to be basically a positive one, that I don't see a problem with the project. The scale of it is much smaller than what we're used to seeing. More in line with something that you would put in back of your house, actually. That's it.
Brian?
No, I'm all set. I'm good.
With this, you have to, you're requesting a public hearing? Is that correct?
Yes, sir. We would like to be placed on a public hearing and have you guys do the legal notice so that we can attend and obtain approval to do the construction.
Is there a motion to accept the application for a public hearing?
I would make a motion that we set a hearing date and start the special permit process going forward on this project.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. I have 645, 7. What was the last one I had, Henry? 7. No, for the 22nd.
Oh, I'm sorry. October 22nd. And
I have, we had one at 6:45,
Yes.
one at 7.
7 is going to be
Till 7:30, half an hour, good?
Yeah.
7:30. We'll have to make this, what do we have at 7:30? Have to make it 7:45 for 1209 Main Street. Is that okay with you guys?
What was the date on that, sir?
The date was October 22nd.
That works
And I
for me.
It's 7:45. I don't know if it's going to be a Zoom meeting or they will put us back into public hearings. I don't know what's going to happen.
Okay, I
So
appreciate
either
it.
way,
That
thank you
works.
for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Nassau.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if I could have one follow-up question that I have for the board. The decommissioning has come up on several projects so far. Is this the size of this project? Would you be looking for some sort of decommissioning bond on this project or no?
I believe so. We're on all the projects, the solar projects, we will be looking for decommissioning.
If that's the case, would your third-party engineer develop Cole? I believe it's Cole Associates. Would they develop the cost?
Say, I didn't, yes.
Your third part I guess I would like to ask permission from the board to have our consulting engineer be able to have a conversation with the consulting engineer to review the assumption.
Absolutely, no problem at all.
Okay, very good. Appreciate that. Thank you very much, sir.
You want to say anything on that?
That happens often. So you and I can coordinate with SW Cole to make that happen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen. I don't know, let's see, 8:40, we're running real early. Presentation for Common Drive off Main Street. Christian Fallon Corporation of Dartmouth. Do you happen to be out there, sir? No? How about, do we have anything else, Henry? Just let me go down the list. Common Drive, Main Street, no. Discussion and update, development plot A, lot 25. Dave DeVignan, you out there?
He's joining now.
Okay, no problem. We're running early, Dave, if you want to.
Yes. Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
We're doing the A&R plan?
Yes, discussion and update, development of lot, assesses plot 8, lot 25, and related access issues on Ancient Way. Mark Francis,
okay.
represented by Richard E. Burke Jr.
I believe we're waiting on your end from town council, and as of this afternoon, Henry can correct me if I'm wrong, town council has not weighed in, probably due to the PJ Keating matter that he's been enthralled in.
Absolutely. Jeff Blake has been assigned to review this, but he has not had the opportunity to get to it. So I think I sent you and the attorney a letter to that effect.
We got the email, so I didn't expect to discuss anything tonight, to be honest with you.
We can, since Mr. DeVignan is here, we could do the 9:45 A&R.
But we would like a date on the next meeting for that same, discussion, a time.
Our next meeting is the 22nd of October. Yep. We'll get you for 8 o'clock.
Okay. That's fine by me.
Okey doke, you're all set in that one. Well, we have you here, David. Let me see. You have another one for
9:45.
9:45.
That's correct.
15 Catherine Street. Do you want to do that now while you're on?
Absolutely. The only thing is, I didn't expect to be on this early for this. I can't screen share at the moment. If you have a plan, it's straightforward. There's no public participation. There's no butter notifications. It's a straightforward A&R plan. As long as everybody has a plan or seen a plan, I can go through it.
Rick and Brian,
this is the
you have
one
that
way up at the
plan?
end that he wrote.
Rick, you got yours?
I do.
Okay.
So if everybody's all set, I'll give a rundown.
Go for it. Can you see the plan, David?
Not on the screen, no, but I have
Henry's
a plan.
got it up.
Okay, I have a plan. Oh, I see it on the screen, yes. I
Okay.
have two devices going on. It's on the laptop. Yes.
No problem. We got you early. Take your time.
Okay, so for the record, Dave DeVignan representing from Schneider, DeVignan, and Leone, and representing the owner of the property, Taylor Martin. We have a property with an address of 15 Catherine Street. It's off of Hebert Street that runs from Keene Road. Long, windy dirt road to get you into this little development, cluster of homes that are situated near the pond. The property has 2 cottages on it. The cottages are extremely old. They're both dated prior to 1955. They predate subdivision control law. So therefore, under Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 81L, that allows any property which is currently non-conforming with 2 structures on it to divide that property with as equal a division as possible. And that's what we're proposing in front of you with an A&R. This is a land court parcel as well. The survey was performed by Doug Schneider, a partner of mine who's a registered land surveyor. He has processed this plan through the planning board, through the land court. They are okay with the plan. They actually required that we set a couple of monuments on which are added to the plan. And in order to complete the land court process, we have to get a plan endorsed by the planning board. So the lot division creates 2 lots, one around each house. They're oddly configured only so that we can implement new Title V septic systems and new wells. Wells and septic systems have to be 100 feet apart. So we have done some perk tests. There's only one good spot on the site for septic systems, and that is the northeasterly corner or parallel to Catherine Street, running up towards the intersection of Peter Street. So the septic systems will be both placed up in those corners, which is why there is a kind of an odd rear lot line, if you will. Lot 23, we're calling it, wraps around lot 24, and that is so that we can put a septic system up towards the northerly side of the lot, run a force main pipe around the lot line of 24 and put the septic up in that corner. The other oddness to the lot 24 you'll see is a finger-like projection down in the southwest corner. That is so that we can put a well in that location and keep it on lot 24. I know you don't have those plans in front of you. If you saw them, they would provide clarity to you. But the configuration in a nutshell is the only way to divide the lot equally as best we can and put in new wells and septics to comply with state sanitary code for septic systems. So in a nutshell, that's what we have before you.
Just have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that the Acushnet wetlands bylaw required 75 feet between the edge of the wetland and the edge of the septic system.
You are correct, and they will be 75 feet.
Okay, it's hard to tell from that particular plan.
I'm
looking at the width. I'm looking at the width of Catherine Street is 30 feet, and then I see. Oh, those are just structures.
Correct. There's if you look at the depth of lot 24, it's 94 feet to the rear lot line on the north line, and then there's a another gap in between. So I mean, the septic's going to be tucked 10 feet off of the street layouts to the north, and they're going to run parallel to.
Okay.
So they'll be outside of. They will be also repairs. So the Board of Health Code does relax it down to 50 for an upgrade of an existing system. These houses are serviced by cesspools. But I'm pretty sure that we're 75. I'm pretty sure that we will comply.
All right. What is the physical condition of Peter Street and Catherine Street? I mean, I haven't been up in that part of the world for years, literally.
They're gravel roads. They vary in width. There are full-time residents down there. I think most of the folks down there are full-time except for maybe these 2 cottages.
Mhm.
I used to own property down there. I used to traverse it. They have yearly potholes they have to fix, but otherwise they're in good shape. Where you get to Peter Street before you take the turn to Catherine, that's where it kind of bellies out a bit. And other than that, it gets higher as you go up towards the roads are in excellent shape as you get up towards Hebert Street. That little low spot they have to maintain every year.
Yeah, we're just going to say this. As I recall, there was one area which was borderline passable without a 4-wheel drive vehicle.
During the worst potholes, you do bottom out with a low ride car when they haven't repaired them, but they have to do an annual maintenance of that low spot. And then when you come around Catherine Street, it's kind of really high up by the top of Catherine, and then it rolls one gradual slope until you get to the end of Catherine, and there's a house on the far left. It just kind of peters out. The other roads are in pretty good shape, but they're older 1.5 lane roads.
They're narrow gravel roads, as I recall.
That's correct. Yep.
Any other questions? Brian, you got anything?
The setback on the house on lot 23. Now that doesn't have, what is the setback for that area?
Well, it's the required setbacks are 15 side, 25 front, and 20 rear, but the houses are already non-conforming. And under that chapter, Mass General Chapter law there, we can do it as best we can. And that's essentially what we're doing. We have to configure the way we have them in order for essentially the cottages to eventually be torn down and rebuilt. What in the end, what will happen is there'll be a balancing of, you won't have that lot line setback from the house. If the cottages are in tough shape, they don't have cellars, they're not heated. So what you're going to have is eventually building permits applications to tear down and rebuild, and the houses the one on lot 23 will be shifted and meet zoning setbacks. So everything will kind of fall into place eventually as we further develop the property.
Okay, I was just concerned because, the existing dwelling that is there now. I didn't realize
I assure
you
you,
were going to be replacing it.
it will be replaced and it will be pulled away from the lot line.
Okay.
In the end, absolutely, it'll meet the setbacks. It'll end up 16 feet off of that lot line +1 or something like that, and 25 off the road. And it'll be more centered towards the south side or the right side of the plan.
Yep.
Same with the other house. The other house will be pulled off the street when it's rebuilt, and we'll end up with better situation, all balancing everything out.
Okay.
Henry, you got anything on that? Everybody all set? Any more questions, guys?
No, I'll make a motion. We approve the plan as submitted.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. The only challenge is we all can't sign the plans, David, so.
Now you can though, can't you?
I can do that now? Oh, yeah, look out.
Yeah.
All right, I'm signing off. Good night. Thank you.
Good night. You all set? You got nothing else?
Nope, that's it.
Good evening. What do we need? A Mylar on that?
This is Rick Ellis. Henry in the background. Have you ever been up Hebert Street?
Yes.
You have?
You mean down Hebert Street?
Right.
Well, down Hebert Street, yeah. Around Hebert Street? And you've seen this area back there? Yeah, okay, all right.
Interesting property.
With that, when you get me, I'll sign that. Where are we now? Where was I looking for? Gentlemen, for proposed common driveway, Main Street? Is that you fellas? Nope.
Mr. Chairman, that's me, sir.
Okay. Give me, let's see. Sorry, we're on a little early, but presentation on proposed common drive off Main Street. M1H1 LLC of Dartmouth, Mass. Applicant, represented by Christian Farland, PE of Farland Corporation, Dartmouth, Mass. There'll be a presentation on the project concept and request for public hearing. Introduce yourselves, gentlemen, and tell us why you're on our Zoom picture today.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Christian Fallon, Principal Engineer and President of Fallon Corp. Here tonight, we have filed a common driveway plan for the subject property, which is located off of Main Street. If I can share my screen. You gentlemen all see this plan?
Everybody got it? I got it.
Yep.
I do.
So basically, I acquired this property about a year ago. It was 6 A&R lots. 3 of the houses have been developed. The third one's being constructed right now. So what we are looking to do is, so we developed the first lot here, which is on the left. And then we built the second house on this lot. Third lot's being constructed now. And then now we're looking to build these 3 houses, which are in the rear. It just makes sense to do a common driveway for these 3 lots rather than having 3 long driveways all the way to the back. Not only does it make sense, economics, but for public safety reasons, I think it makes a lot more sense as well. Because finding the proper address coming to an emergency situation, I think it would be make a lot more sense to have one drive a lot wider than a normal typical driveway. So that's basically what we're looking to do. The plan we provided, it meets all your stormwater requirements, minimum driveway requirements. We got 18-foot wide driveway. This land slopes from Main Street all the way back. There are no wetlands here. However, the stormwater provided meets DEP requirements as well. We provided a detention basin in this water here. We'll basically have a grass swale on the right-hand side and a culvert for this driveway from this one lot here. And during large storm events, this basin would overflow and basically sheet flow all the way down. We provided some stormwater calculations, which demonstrate that the post-development is less than the pre-development. That's basically it in a nutshell. I mean, we're looking to move forward with these 3 lots as soon as possible. We have 3 buyers that are ready to go and build. These are, oversized lots. These 2 lots are basically 2.75 acres. And this last lot is over 4 acres in the rear. So these are well oversized lots. The rooftop runoff from each lot is actually recharged as well. So looking to hear some feedback from the board and get this on the agenda so we can get it approved as quickly as possible.
How long is that common drive?
The common drive is good question. Let me see if I can get back here on the other plan. Probably looking at this whole distance here is 750, so I think we're somewhere in here, probably 500 feet.
So you're going to request a public hearing on this, is that correct?
Correct.
With that, any other questions? Rick, do you have any questions?
No, I mean, it seems pretty, I don't see anything that jumps out. To me, it looks like the exact situation that you would want a common driveway. The abutters off the street get more of a buffer zone, and you don't have confusion of people stopping on Main Street trying to figure out which driveway goes to which house. So I would make a motion that we set. Can we do a public hearing in October 22nd? Is there enough time to advertise it?
Sure, we got 2 weeks.
Yeah, that was the game plan.
Henry's just checking that. Brian, you got any questions?
No, I'm all set, Mark.
There'll probably have to be, you understand all the rules for common driveway, correct? You have to put the paperwork in that all three people will take care of and maintain the driveway. There's probably, Chief's probably gonna have you put a turnaround somewhere, a hammerhead or a turnaround for emergency equipment.
Sure.
Okay, we'll put it on for 8:15 on the 22nd of October.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
No problem. You understand all the stuff that you have to do for the public hearing, right? Send out the abutters list and all that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't have to make, you guys, we make a motion to do that?
I make a motion to put this on the agenda for 8:15 on October 22nd.
Is there a second?
I second that.
All in favor? All right,
Aye.
unanimous. We'll see you guys then.
Good evening.
Hopefully, we'll have it in a public hearing, but I'm not sure whether it'll be Zoom or not.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see, 9 o'clock, 9:05, we had David here, 9:15. John, you out there? I know we're early.
That's you. Yep. Hi, guys. Yeah, John's here with me. I'm going to put him up in front of the camera.
Okay, I know we're early.
Just having a grand old time here at Zenith Consulting Engineers. Waiting patiently. It's like watching a movie, watching you guys.
Let's see.
Hey, how do I share the screen? Jesus. Are we doing 251 Mendel Road?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Just introduce yourself. Let me read it out loud. I'm sorry.
Sure.
A&R for 3 lots at 251 Mendel Road. John Williams of Dartmouth, Mass. Applicant, represented by John Romanelli of Zenith Land Surveyors of New Bedford, Mass.
Great. Okay, for the record, I am John Romanelli of Zenith Land Surveyors, 1162 Rockdale Avenue, Bedford. Here representing the owner, Jay Williams, who is looking to form a 3 lots off of the Girl Scout camp property. Jamie, how do I share this screen? Jamie, how do I share the screen so they can see that?
Right down bottom. Over here. Scroll the mouse over to there.
Okay,
Click screen share. And then select
awesome.
and hit share. Nope.
Okay, I don't know who's familiar with the Girl Scout camp or not, but that's the actual camp building out in the back off the cart path. What we're looking to do is create 3 buildable lots with frontage on Mendel Road. First one here I'm going to go with is lot 29-3, I called it, 60,000 square feet. It's got the minimum upland area of over the 40,000. It's got 55 and change. I did put the lot within there just in case anybody was questioning that. We got to have the minimum of 150 feet of frontage, so I put that in there. Lot 29-2 has 42,748 continuous upland area. There is a little sliver out back of another 4,000 square feet of upland area, but the lot size is 60,104. And again, that's got the lot width of 150.2 at its narrowest point. And then the third lot where you're creating is lot 29-1, all upland area, 60,149 square feet. Again, with over 200 feet of frontage on Mendel. And the remaining land is, you must know, is going to be, a portion of it is going to be a solar farm that's actually going through the process right now. The fence for the solar farm is about 800 feet off the roadway, and the longest lot here we have is 400 feet. So you got another 400 feet behind this lot before the solar farm would start. And that basically is it. You can clearly see where the wetland line is delineated. There's the car road that runs out back to the remaining land. And I would entertain any questions.
Gentlemen?
Pretty straightforward. I mean, I guess, yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, the remaining lot wouldn't have the minimum frontage requirements for a, construction of a single-family dwelling, but that's a zoning thing. We don't have to make that, or protective bylaw thing, so we don't have to make that determination. I don't know how that affects the solar project. I guess it really doesn't.
I know they're gonna use this gravel access road to get out back. And I guess they're still, I don't know at what stage you're at actually with the approvals, but I know they are gonna use that as their right of way because that's the upland area across those two little wetland patches that they're gonna use. But from talking to Jay Williams too, I guess Buzzards Bay Coalition is looking at buying another large piece out back, and that's why we left this sliver of 40 feet over here, so they'd have public access to the rear piece.
Okay, I mean, I don't really see any problem with us signing it. I mean, I would make a motion that we approve the plan as submitted, just subject to the note. Don't change the plan or anything, but just subject to the note that obviously whatever wants to be done on the remaining part of the land will have to meet the requirements of the Acushnet protective bylaw.
Brian, you got anything?
No.
Henry?
All set.
Is there a motion?
Motion to sign as submitted.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Can I ask one question?
No. Go ahead. What
How
do you want, John?
are we gonna proceed with signing of the Mylar?
I just got permission to sign the Mylar myself.
Oh, okay.
Under the law for the Pandemic. So do we have the Mylar? We have the Mylar here. You can pick it up in 3 weeks.
That was gonna be my client's next question. When can we record it?
Pick it up tomorrow. I'll sign the papers tonight, John.
Okay, great.
John, we have some other paperwork that has to be filed at the registry before this plan. That's the only thing. You know.
Yeah, we can wait.
What happened was we authorized Mark to sign Form A plans and subdivision plans that the board had approved. But there has to be a formal notification to the board or to the registry of deeds in New Bedford. So that document, I mean, they can be filed concurrent or not concurrently, but kind of at the same time. But that document authorizing Mark only to sign, that has to go on record first. Then this plan can go on record.
Totally understand.
Okay.
You all set with that, John?
I am.
Okay. Moving along, you have the next one. Lot line relocation at 158 Peckham Road. Josh Arruda of Acushnet, Mass. Applicant, represented by John Romanelli of Zenith Surveyors of New Bedford, Mass.
Didn't everybody see this one? What we are doing here, I don't know if people, when they drive by, the blue house at 158 is going to be raised once this gets approved.
Can we leave this date open? What do we got, 9/24?
Can I continue? Or you?
Yeah, go right ahead. It's all
Okay.
yours.
All right. Lot labeled 8K, 60,167 square feet with the over 50,000 square feet of upland area, minimum lot width through the middle of the lot. We did note that the house, it's a pre-existing non-conforming and it is going to be taken down. And I'm assuming there will be a new house at some point with new septic and well built at some point down the road. Josh Arruda lives at 148, which is lot 7J now. He's actually in the process of trying to sell. He has somebody interested in buying his home. So before he sold it, we wanted to move this lot line to have two conforming lots. It's basically what we are doing. Josh's house is on town water, so we don't have to worry about a well there. The old house on 158 still has a well that's in use. I don't know if that's, maybe they'll tie that into town water too, because see there's ghost rates in front of the house there. That's basically it, I think.
I thought I thought that house was being raised because of how close it was to the common way that was going down. I thought we had to be like 150 feet.
Common way is probably another, well, this is 40, it's probably at least 80 feet away. I'm not sure if that was part of the approval of the retreat lots out back, which I did label out back. Doris and Josh own the retreat lot C out back, which is the first lot in of the 3 retreat lots. Yeah, I think you're right. It did have a note on the.
Yes, because that was the whole reason why the house had to be raised, because of how close it was to the right of way. I mean, the common driveway that was going out back. I thought you couldn't have any dwelling within 150 feet of that.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
I mean, Brian, it's actually a zoning issue.
Yep.
You know, that the building inspector is going to have to.
Yep. Okay.
What do you think, guys?
I would make a motion, we approve it as submitted. It looks straightforward to me.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Henry, you don't have anything on that one, do you? Okay, and with that, are we done yet?
I think I have one more actually with.
Holy mackerel, one more, John? Discussion regarding the development of 3 lots on Bradford Street, a private way. Tara Brothers Development of Acushnet, represented by John Romanelli of Zenith Surveyors of New Bedford.
You have to give me about 30 seconds to find that one now. I'm not quite ready.
Is that the other PDF?
No.
Take your time.
I only gave to Niles, I believe. Actually, he's got it, not me.
Oh, so it's in our drawing?
Yes.
Yeah, let me hop on the computer.
Hop on. TV timeout.
What's the address?
I have it under 0 Bradford Street, but it's probably on Pembroke Street. It's one of the terraces.
You said Pembroke?
Yeah. That job, they're gonna take us early. Oh, Pembroke Street in your file system?
Miles, is it this one?
Go to. I should email it to John. I might not. Where the heck did I put it? Have they already taken us? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You might want to hit stop share at the top, red, middle screen. There you go.
Hold on a second. Let me go. I can actually email it to Jim.
You can read what it says when we talk about it.
Thank you.
It's gonna pop up on the top like that, over on the email.
Oh, yeah?
Right there, double click. See it over here now?
Got the miles down here. Or above?
Got it.
Go. You want to share it?
I do. We rotate it.
Yep.
Go to view. Rotate view.
This one for
Here. Then go to get out of that. Is the zone? Maybe move that over. Take over for a second. Learn the system. Any questions? All righty, back from that break. All right, here we go. What we are proposing to do is by Form A, create 3 village district lots, which is the minimum 10,000 square feet, which these all have. This is right up the road from Labonte Street. It's probably, I think, 3 or 4 private ways up top of the hill. And we want to basically do the same thing we did at Labonte, bring sewer down, bring a water line down, put a hammerhead turnaround at the end, and create these 3 building lots, 481-1, 481-2, and 481-3. I know did you have any discussions with Dan Menard on this?
I believe that the terrorists did.
Yeah.
And they talked about pretty simple pump station.
This property is owned by the DeTerra brothers, and they're in construction business. And I guess they did have some conversations with Dan about how to go about doing it. And Dan mentioned Labonte Street basically wanted the same type of utilities brought down like we did on Labonte. So basically, we wanted to have a quick discussion about this tonight, but maybe bring it back next month under an A&R roadway improvement project and have it approved that way.
Your call, whatever you like.
What's that? I just have a question. Now, what do they own? Lot 482 also?
Yes.
Okay, so the whole ball of wax. Any reason why they don't want to do the smaller lots off of the other larger parcel?
We don't have. Oh, that's right. The village district ends on this.
Oh, okay.
On this line, that's where the village district line ends. I don't know. Henry might be able to answer that question as to why the village district ended there, but that is the district line just right in front of the frontage of these 3 lots.
Mm-hmm.
Good question.
Based on the access.
Okay, well that makes sense now.
Yeah, so I think they can only get 1 lot out of this.
So those 3, I can't read it. My battery's running low. All right, let me go plug it in. This meeting's just taking too long, Mark. What can I say?
Go plug it into the windmill or get a solar panel out there, huh?
I know.
Where's the solar panels, Rick?
There'd be no solar boost tonight, that's for sure. There we go. So now, is it all just one, or those 3 village district lots? They exist like that now, or
No,
they
they
don't?
exist as 1 lot.
Okay. So you want to divide it up into 3 lots?
Correct.
All right. Put the sewer, put the water up. Okay. All right. I'm clear now.
And no wetlands involved either, which is a rarity up there.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Hit 'em.
Yeah, this site also to the because that'd be the east, was the old some kind of automobile mechanic yard back in the day, and they cleaned it
Oh,
up
yeah, that used to be Perry's junkyard.
before my time. But
Yep.
yeah, that's what I was told. And I believe the Terras have cleaned up the soils that were that had some contaminations in there.
You have someone waiting in the waiting room, you see that? How come you're not doing this as a 3-lot subdivision?
We'd like to do it as a 3-lot A&R plan.
Yeah,
I should say that it's a private way in existence prior to subdivision control law.
Yeah. This is exactly the same as the sidewalk waiver that we just gave?
Yeah, Labonte, I understand. Just a question.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good question, Mark.
Does that road exist right now, or is it just a paper street?
It exists as a private way 40 feet wide. There are a couple of driveways that go down it. I take it there's one right here at the beginning. But there were no other dwellings. And I think at one point somebody used it for this access on 482. but obviously it would have to be improved, 20 feet pavement, hammerhead, turnaround.
Water, sewage.
Yes.
I would recommend he come in and meet with the department chairs to talk through this.
You get that, come in and meet with on a Tuesday, meet with the department heads and go from there.
We sure can do that.
Set it up with Henry.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to set up another one, Henry, too, for that Morton Lane I was talking to you about the other day. I'd like to do that at the same time if we could.
Fine.
Great, sounds good. We'll set it up. I'll get in touch with you.
Thank you.
Okay. Don't tell me that's it, gentlemen.
I've got some planner update issues.
Oh.
Oh.
We've done with most of the stuff, but we have a planner update. Henry, if you would.
Sure.
Didn't have someone on, was on here. I don't know who Donna Lopes is.
Donna Lopes. Might have been on for one of the items that we've already addressed.
Okay.
So on the, we shipped seats for just a second so we don't get that echo.
We're playing musical computers.
To avoid that echo effect. Just a couple of things. I'll skip over a few, but the Shared Streets grant that we applied for with the DPW, the good news is we won the grant. We got about $14,000 to build a small segment of bike and walking path to connect Riverview Park with Slocum Street along River Street. So we won that, and construction begins, I believe, Monday. So that was a quick win and a quick implementation. So the town meeting is going to be November the 14th. That's my understanding. And in addition to, you know, all the items that I think the planning board will be seeking to have bylaw amendments to the address the common drive issue. We attempted to do that pre-COVID, but that got knocked out when the spring town meeting got truncated. So we'll bring that up. And then there was interest in, there's been some interest expressed in allowing multifamily development in business commercial district, in the business commercial district where the Titleist property is, where they have presence of sewer and water. It's easy to, you know, access that. So that I think is something we'll also be looking into, but you know, those are concepts. And because it's a bylaw amendment, we would need to have public hearings to discuss those. So my request is to have a public hearing for 2 bylaw amendments, one for common drives and one for multifamily use in the business commercial district. I'll switch back with you.
You guys hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Is there a motion on Henry's motion for what he just spoke about?
Bylaw amendments.
Bylaw amendments.
I would make the motion that we look at the bylaw amendments for common driveways and for plowing on private property in accordance with what Henry just described. I would vote that let's get a public hearing time set. Can we do that for the 22nd?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, go for
Have
it.
a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We got anything else, Henry? That's it? Looks like you're falling asleep, Brian. Can I come over, lay on your couch?
Come on over.
Thank you very much, guys.
Henry, I seen as we voted to approve several plans tonight, that document that's got to be recorded with the registry, is that Is that something that we could expedite?
Yes, I have a copy of it, and I'll leave it with.
I mean, the alternative is that the three of us have got to sign the, the plans that came in tonight.
No, if you, the two of you can come down, or three of you can come down. Hold on for a second.
Yeah, I'll mute this.
Okay, if the three of you can come to Town Hall tomorrow, I'll have that letter at the Board of Selectmen's office with Lisa, and the three of you can sign that, and then I'll take it to the Registry of Deeds probably tomorrow afternoon or Monday morning.
Okay.
And then we'll get that in, before, for instance, John Romanelli submits his A&Rs.
I mean, we've got to sign, that Mylar needs to be signed. There's a few Mylars that need to be signed.
Right. Good point.
I certainly.
Okay, you guys all set?
Yep, I certainly can do it. Just, Henry, have you got my mobile number? Henry?
I'll give it to him, Rick.
Okay, and that way, just text me when the thing's there and I'll go down and sign it.
Got it.
Is there a motion?
Just let me know when I can go down and get it. Let's do it.
What do we
Your
need a
motion.
motion for? That was just discussion. And, we've already approved the signing of the letter. So now we can, that has to be filed at the registry. I would just say, let's do that first so we don't have to, all three of us sign the plans that came in tonight.
No problem. It being 9:07, is there a motion?
Motion to close the meeting.
Is there a second?
Here's a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. We'll see you November 22nd, October 22nd. Good night.
Mark?
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.